each topic because any good leader knows it's not all about her. In the beginning, back when I shared the NYU dorm room with a cat named Marbella, Molly for short, a boyfriend and business partner named Phil, a home-use printer, and more cockroaches than I care to recall, I used to tell myself that I'd work today like no one else would, so I could live tomorrow like no one else could. However, this mantra was more than the preface to my hopes because I paired it with verbs. My mantra of dreaming big and winning, when fortified with actions such as setting goals and holding myself accountable, became a plan of attack. Yours can, too. 1. Beginning to dream. 1. Creating. On a sweltering morning in August of 1992, I was living in New York City, fresh out of grad school. The entire city seemed miserable that day as the mercury surged upwards, hitting 90-plus degrees before 8 a.m. Everyone was surly, damp, and unhappy, save for me. As I strolled up Park Avenue South, I violated all the rules I'd learned in the past 5 years living in Manhattan. I smiled. I nodded. I made eye contact with each passerby. I even committed the cardinal sin of saying hello. People rushed past me, assuming the heat had driven me out of my mind. What strangers on the street didn't know was that my joy stemmed from finally having landed a job. The country was still recovering from a recession at that time. I'd quickly learned that a grad school degree was no guarantee of success, no promise of gainful employment. I'd interviewed for months and had been in a full-on panic as late spring turned to midsummer. My mailbox was full of ding letters. I papered the walls of my studio apartment with rejections from places like Goldman Sachs and J.P. Morgan. I was miserable. Until then, I never knew how many ways a letter could say, thanks, but no thanks, or how a single sheet of paper could alter my destiny. The idea of not working was entirely foreign to me. I'd maintained some form of employment since I was 10 years old and had hustled to find neighborhood grade schoolers I could escort to the door of their classrooms for a small fee. While my parents were emotionally supportive, they made it clear that as an adult with an advanced degree, I was fiscally responsible for myself. Early on, their lesson was that no one would ever need to rescue me if I learned how to save myself. Still, I was grateful. To economize, Phil, my boyfriend at the time, and I downgraded our living situation. We moved from a Tudor City studio apartment to NYU housing as he was finishing his last year there. The irony was not lost on me that my big prize for graduating with an MBA from NYU's Leonard N. Stern School of Business was moving into an NYU dorm room. Still, we were grateful to land at Washington Square Village. With some creative accounting, we could delay rent payments through the fall semester, possibly even until the end of the school year. Washington Square Village, identifiable by its Soviet-era chic cinder blocks of dingy white bricks turned gray, had been built in the 1950s. The facility had not been upgraded, maintained, or cleaned in any way since then. Decades of housing students had taken its toll. Everything was worn and depressing. Fortunately, we had our own private, rust-stained, linoleum-chipped, microscopic bathroom that may have been the dorm room's only redeeming quality. Yet none of that mattered as I made my way north because this was my first day of work. I'd been hired by Paresco, the proprietary trading division of a major French bank. I was finally employed. Thank God. I didn't want to spare the cash for a subway token, so I walked the 30 blocks from 2 Washington Square Village to my new office at 24th and Park. Visible heat waves rose from the sidewalk in front of me, creating a mirage effect. As I hustled up Park, sweat rolled down my back.